Right, everybody, welcome down to, oh sorry, there we go. I'm just getting everybody's way here, having some photos. The Equipe Pre 63 with the 50s as well. Look at these cars here, oh my word, these are something special. We've got Robbie Bernberg here. He's very kindly turned the engine off for us, Robbie. Thank you so much for it. Tell us about the car.
Cool, so this is a 1959 Cooper Monaco, chassis number 4.
How did you come to find yourself sitting behind the wheel of it?
I used to have a Cooper Bobtail and loved it so much, and then looked for its big brother and got one of these, and I bumped into the owner one a couple of years ago, and he was selling it, and we did a deal.
I think we need to hang out more often, you and me. I think you're obviously on pole position. You can take this one home?
That's the plan. See what I can do.
Top man, thank you for talking to us. Really appreciate it. Let's just move down, shall we? Oh, we've got it's John again. How are we doing, John?
I'm all right. I'm chuffed to be third on the grid. I've got to make sure I finish that way too. That's the goal. So yeah, it's good.
They're not that far in front of you. You can do something, can't you?
Yeah, but they're a lot faster. Especially the Bobtail is extremely fast. The Morgan's fast. I've got to keep ahead of the other MGAs in this race.
Can I just everybody watching the Equipe YouTube channel probably aware of this, but obviously you're very heavily involved with Equipe. How much work has gone behind the scenes to put this weekend together?
This is the biggest weekend we've ever done, the biggest grid sizes, the most races, and so far so good. Everyone's had a great time. The sun is shining. I mean, you know, that you couldn't ask for more. So far, so good.
So far, so good. I'll let you crack on. Thank you so much. Let's keep moving down a little bit further, shall we? I wonder if we could just jump in for a quick chat here as well. The sun is shining. We're at Silverstone Grand Prix. Life couldn't be much better than this, can it? Eh?
Not much better. If the brakes work this time, they'll be better than it was in practice, but that's okay.
Ah, okay. So we're going to really use that formation lap, are we, to test it?
we are. That's right.
Well, look, best of luck. I'll let you crack on anyway. I know people want to get on. Now, who doesn't love an Alfa Romeo? I know I certainly do. And just look. I mean, look at this mix of cars. Wow. All right, let's jump in here because I've seen Matt all day long. I wanted to say hello to you, Matt. I've seen you all day long, but what a treat this must be to be behind the wheel of this.
Yeah, it's a lovely car. It's probably a bigger treat for the fans or for the people watching than it is to be inside. It's beautiful.
It's outside.
It's lacking a bit of power and a bit of brakes, but it's a lovely looking car.
Well, you're at the sharp end, you say that, you know.
Well, sharp end of the 50s grid, not the sharp end of the total grid. But
well, don't worry about that. That doesn't matter. What's it been like this weekend so far? Now it's still only Saturday, of course, but what a day it's been. Certainly seen those Alans, right?
Yeah, it was a great spectacle, the Elan race. Really enjoyed it. Looked a bit hectic out there at some points, but it was a cracking race, yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing this out to play. Who doesn't love an Alfa? Right, absolutely. There we go. Thank you so much for that. Let's keep moving down a little bit further. I feel there is a big gap, of course, to the 50s there. We've got the Pre-63s a little bit further back as well. Let's just keep going down. I think we've got a little bit of time, which is good. I'm not too sure. I think I've seen a bit of recovery actually on the far side round Luffield, so I think we've probably got a little bit of extra time, shall we? A few of the E-Type Jags down here as well. Let's go have a chat with the 711 car if we can. Of course, this is for the Pre-63, so let's go have a quick chat, shall we? Because who does not love a Jag? Just look at the wheels. Probably the best wheels. These Jags, they have the best looking wheels ever, don't they?
They're beautiful, aren't they?
What's this like to drive around Silverstone on a Grand Prix circuit?
It's extraordinary. You're hardly ever in a straight line. You're always sideways in these.
Always sideways. So we're expecting some spectacles from you down here.
Yeah? Yep, it could be quite dramatic.
Good man, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck. You heard it here. It's going to be quite dramatic. Fortunately, John, our cameraman here, is going to be with us down here, so we're going to keep an eye peeled for that one. Quite spectacular indeed. Let's just move down a little bit. I just want to listen to this because we've got a couple of cars having a bit of a rev up down here. This sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Is everything all right?
Sorry?
Is everything okay with the car?
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah.
Good man. All right, I'll let you crack on anyway. We're just gearing things up for that. Let's keep moving down a little bit further, shall we, for this one. In fact, I can tell you how quick everybody is. In fact, I think the whistle might have just blown, so I think we'll just have to let's just jump in here as well, because who doesn't love an E-Type, right? One of my favourite cars of all time. What's it like being behind the wheel of one?
Exciting. Yeah, a real handful.
Especially when you're about to launch it around Silverstone GP, right?
Yeah, loads of power, not much grip.
So we expect you to go lightning fast down the straights, and the wiggly bits might be a bit sideways.
Yeah, you're holding on to it there, yeah.
So, man, thank you for talking to us. We appreciate it. In fact, the cars are going out now, so let's make our way down, shall we? Green flags. It's time to go racing already. Wow, that was quick. Blimey. I didn't hear it. It's so loud down here. The number 92 car is absolutely revving it. That's Simon Parry Williams. And off the cars go. Look at this shot. Wow, great work, John. This looks incredible. Look at that. Oh, not bad, eh? Not bad at all. We're going to make our way down into position, so if we get a chance to show the grids, we will. I'm going to head down into position with John, and I'll be back on comms as soon as the race starts very, very shortly. Well, welcome back, everybody. Almost time to get going for the Equipe Pre 63 and Pre 50s. They're just on their formation lap, but I tell you, they're getting through things pretty quick because the next race are already coming into assembly already, and this one hasn't even gone, and it's a 30-minute race as well. Jack Oliphant is back with me as well. We've just been to top up the water. Very important because the sun is blaring down.
I was going to say, normally we're sat in a commentary box or something like that, but the fact we're stood up outside just in front of the assembly area, which is why we can get down to chat to these drivers so quickly. But all of a sudden, that means you're out in the elements, and the elements today are hot. I mean, I'd much rather it than... Imagine if it was raining, we'd be screwed.
We would be in a little bit of trouble. I'm sure I have a habit of finding cover when it rains. Right, if you've not seen the Equipe Pre 63 with the 50s before, the Pre 63 is the sports and GT cars running on Dunlop historic CR65L section tyres and FIA Appendix K specification. The 50s, race series for 1950s production sports cars, unsurprisingly, and sports racing cars from this evocative and exciting era. It certainly is, isn't it? Equipe 50s combines production sports cars and sports racing cars with classes split pre-post 1956. Basically any sports cars racing of this period. The period EGT and GTS production drum brake and disc brake sports cars. So basically anything. From 2022, they were running separate classes for drum brake cars as well, so always worth noting. So safety car just coming around now. As you can see, the cars, there is on pole position Roby Bernberg, just making his way through.
It may well be a rolling start here, Ian, because I heard in race admin that there is a rolling start at some point today and the fact that we haven't had one yet.
Yeah, it'll be this way because the car's normally peeled off by now. If
the safety car would go behind.
Yeah,
and here's the second lot as well, actually. So yeah, the two classes separated by a decent margin. We're going to get ready here. The 63 is leading us away first, I think.
Yeah, I'm not so sure actually. I think it might be the 50s going first, so we'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. But here we go, and we are now underway, and we're off. Half an hour of action from the classic race in the Pre-66 and the Pre-50s. Chat to a number of the drivers just then in assembly area. Very excited indeed to get this one going. Split grid as well, as you can see. So we will keep you up to speed with the best of it as we can. We are running multiple cameras today, 4 in total. So there are 1 or 2 blind spots, but I don't think it really tells, does it at all? It's been a cracking day's racing so far. This is race number 5 of 7 we are bringing you with Equipe Classic Racing. It's the biggest event they've ever put on here this weekend at Silverstone. They're back tomorrow as well, don't forget. But it's not been live streamed, so if you do want to watch it, and I recommend you do have to come down to Silverstone. But bring the family, why not? Just pay at the gate, come on in. There's the grandstand seats just behind us, well worth popping in. There's cafes, all sorts going on. You can walk around and have a look at the cars up close and personal. I certainly do recommend it. I've had such a nice day today, I really have. So lap 1 underway here for the Equipe Pre-63 with Pre-50s. I wonder how this one is going to go.
You can see some fans actually on your screen right now and enjoying themselves out here, enjoying the spectacle. And as we said before, the Silverstone GP circuit is a great circuit, but it is a little bit spaced out. So it's nice when we get a few people that have actually sort of joined in. That's why they don't open every single grandstand. For instance, that would be a nightmare to try and police. But the BRDC grandstand, that's exactly behind where we're stood. You don't need to be a part of the BRDC to enter it this weekend. So you can just walk in and have one of the best seats in Silverstone to be able to see Brooklands and the field, which quite often is one of the most exciting sets of corners you can have, with maybe Maggotts, Beckett's and Church being the second, but it's a little bit further away.
Yeah, do get in touch with us as well on social media. We can see your comments. The YouTube channel, Equipe Classic Racing, in the live chat. I know a lot of you are tuning in and watching there, so do get in touch with us. Here come the cars down now, and it is Robbie Bernberg. We just spoke to him as well, the man who started on pole position. Alongside him, Andrew Wenman. You may remember Andrew from a little bit earlier in the Equipe GTS race. He's back out in his Morgan as well, as you can see. The cars coming around. David Wenman going through there as well in the number 4. Things are going to close up pretty quick here as well, so do keep your eyes peeled for it. They're all coming around, and I was chatting to some of the drivers, Jack, and certainly in the E-types, expect a lot of sideways going around corners, especially down here. This is a complete stark contrast to the monoposto race we've just seen.
Yeah, we were talking about it during the monopostos, actually, weren't we? In the 2 different styles of how they attack the corners and how you can get the best out of cars. I mentioned during the monopostos that if you're in a single-seater, whoever's got the steering wheel the straightest for the longest and over the course of a lap probably is going to be the driver who's the quickest. But in these sort of cars, you can have your foot flat to the floor and you can pretty much be going sideways and be absolutely loving life at the same time. There's a real reason why a lot of these drivers choose to drive these sort of cars rather than anything that's a little bit more delicate or precise.
Yeah, so Bernberg is leading the way from Andrew Wenman in the Morgan in second place. John Pearson, we've just spoken to him in the MGA 1840 in third place, and David Wenman in the Jaguar XK120 in fourth. Then Williams in fifth, Wilmot in sixth, and Chatham, Alexander Spooner, Giordanelli, Coates, Holmes, Hyle Evans, Moore, Muirhead, Parry Williams, Eels, Nistorica, BT, Gordon, Mortimer, Harrison and Woods. There are 23 runners and riders in this. What a mix of cars, by the way, as well. We've got a Triumph Italia in there, Austin Healey in there, an Elva Courier in there, Jaguars, of course, E-Types, XK150s in there, MGAs in there. We really do have it all, don't we? Of course, Morgan as well, the Cooper Monaco 1960 from Bernberg in there as well. A real mix of cars, just as we have off to our left as well. More on that a little bit later. That is going to be the next race, so we're going to chat to those drivers a little bit later. Got the BCB8s in there coming up next, but right now all the focus is on the Equipe Pre-63 with the Pre-50s. If you do want to find out more about Equipe Classic Racing at any point, you can as well. There's a link in the body of this broadcast on YouTube or Facebook. Just give it a click and it will take you straight through to the Equipe Classic website. 2 minutes 37. Just can't read really too much into that, and already it does look like Bernberg is pulling a bit of a gap, Jack.
Yeah, it's not much of a fight at the front. In fact, first and second look positively close if you compare it to the gap from second to third. I mean, the fronts are pretty much all the way around Luffield, and the others haven't even got to Buckland. And actually, we got a class overtaking another class here, I think. The 81 of Wilmot is now third overall on the track. So behind Bernber and Venman is actually Wilmot. So it's a big jump up. Big lock-up as well, just in front of us by one of the
E-types. That's Andrew Moore there in the E-type. I've just spoken to him as well, and he was saying that there's going to be a lot of sideways action around here.
You kind of wonder where they get the bravery from, don't you, to go into corners that hot on brakes like these old classics. It's scary. They must start braking about, I don't know, a mile down the road.
Well, I spoke to 4 or 5 drivers in the assembly area, and 3 of them were concerned about brakes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. We'll either see lockups or overheating and they won't work. But, Ian, I know we can't show it because it's the next race. But that Ferrari on the front row,
yeah,
that 308.
Little clue, everybody. There's a red Ferrari.
On the front row, and the type of Ferrari you actually want to own, not from the ones these days or anything like that.
And you know that's not a replica as well.
I know.
There's no way that's a replica.
How on earth he's been brave enough to put that on the front row of the grid is beyond me. And in fact, actually looking back, you covered the BCV8s quite a lot, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Ian,
yeah.
over the years, along with the MG Cups and stuff like that. And the fact that they've been mixed with these 70s cars as well. There's a lot of horsepower that's about to go out on that dummy grid. But I mean, not to take away from any of the stuff that we're seeing right now. I mean, the 50s and the 63s are putting on one hell of a show as well. But I tell you what, I'm not actually sure which one I'd rather drive. That's the question actually for you, Ian, I'd say, is someone who's not really ever done motorsport, not raced or anything like that. What grid would you like to be on for today?
Because I would be a rookie.
Yeah.
Probably the likes of that.
They do look fun.
Probably the MG Cup. And the only reason I say that is because I know a lot of the guys from the MG Cup. I've covered them for a few years. So the MG Cup is probably the one I'd go on, and I'd probably be trundling around at the back somewhere.
I think you picked the only front-wheel drive class there as well, haven't you?
I have, yeah. There's been a lot on social media as well, so please do keep your comments coming in. We can see them. Ellie Louise O'Neill. So let's go number 9. Number 9 is Sam Williams, started in 15th place, so we'll keep an eye for a bit of smoke coming out the back there of Bernberg's car.
Not brake as well. I thought maybe it was something to do with the locker, but it continued round the corner, so maybe there's a little bit of a worry for that one. But going down into Bucklands is now Wilmot, and then I think Chatham quite quickly behind. Yeah, the 691 of Chapman. So there is a few battles towards the front of each group, shall we say, because the top 6 is first and second of each category at the moment, anyway.
Bit of action going on here as well, by the way. It looks like Doug Muirhead going toe-to-toe with David Wenham there as well. So there's some pretty good racing going on here, isn't it? Wheel-to-wheel stuff. Like I said, I don't know how they have the bravery to put these cars through the paces like they do. I think I'd park it in a garage, polish it, look at it, and put it away again.
I was going to say, my dad owns like a Porsche 928 and a few other bits like that. Lovely cars. He won't take them out. He won't take him out of the garage. I can't imagine what it would take to get him to put a roll cage in it and bring it. I mean, maybe not the 928, but a car like that he cherishes so much. And all these things are exactly that. They are cherished items. They're almost part of the family, I imagine, with how much they had to care for them. And to be fair, what I quite like about it is if you did have a car and you just stuck it in the garage, you probably only see it once every 2 weeks when you think to go into and have a look at it and maybe have a clean of it or something. Whereas if you're here racing it,
we've got a spinner right through it, the 154.
That's right on the apex as
come
well.
Back round and well spotted by the 21 just to get out of the way.
Not stalled it.
That's John Harrison, by the way, in the 154 there, just having a bit of a spin right in front of us. He's got it going again. And the number 21, Jeremy Woods, did very well to see the danger and get out the way quickly. And a little bit of a round of applause from the grandstand behind for John Harrison for spinning it around and getting it back going again. Just a bit of a hairy moment, that's all. Just lost it.
Yeah, I think Bruno would have given that one a 7 for the pirouette. To be fair, he obviously hit the clutch down pretty quickly because he didn't stall the thing, did he? So that's quite impressive. It probably didn't last him. It probably meant that he didn't lose too much time. I think he only lost one place.
He only lost one place. I mean, he did start 23rd and last on the grid, but Jeremy Woods did get past him. So Jeremy Woods has made up a place there. What have we got? 20 minutes off this race to go. 30 minutes in total. The order looks like this. Bernberg has led it from the start so far. Went him in second, and Wilmot, Chatham, Spooner, Giordinelli, Coates, Muirhead, and then we've got David Wenham as well. Different classes as well. We must. There's Roby Bernberg just goes through again. It's still smoking, but it doesn't seem to slow him down, does it? Out the back, and a little bit of smoke there from the 93 car of Andrew Wenham in his Morgan. Of course, he raced in the GTS race earlier today as well. A busy day for a lot of these drivers. A lot of the drivers actually about to go out in the next race took part in that Equipe GTS as well. Russell McCarthy's in that. Neil Fowler is going out as well. Ian Pryor, I think, maybe too. So a little bit of inter-rivalry, I suppose. That's what we like to see, a bit of friendly rivalry. Do turn the volume up for the next race as well, by the way, because it's going to be an absolute corker. Plenty of action going on through here as well. The 232 car coming through. That's Alistair Coates, and managing to hold it on as well. Wow.
Wow, I know you were looking down at your clipboard there.
I just heard tyres squealing and everybody go, whoa!
I genuinely thought that was a goner, but good car control in the end, actually, to be fair, so can't really argue with that one. Yeah, it's nice to see that people have decided to dust off either another car or they've just dusted off the helmet to make sure they come back and have another go at a different race. It's what we like to see, isn't it? As I said before, you might as well get the bang for your buck when it comes to these sort of weekends. It costs enough money for the car, costs enough money to get down in a race. You might as well do as many as you possibly can.
It's a massive weekend, I can't stress it enough. The biggest weekend Equipe Classic Racing have ever done. And rightly so as well, because the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, you know, it's difficult to get marshals for as well. It's so vast.
Yeah,
so a big thank you to everybody for stepping in. I mean, what a treat it is to see the cars, but they're all volunteers. They don't get paid.
Oh, and they do the Lord's work, honestly. It's actually very impressive. Whenever you meet someone who's maybe not in the motorsport world and you educate them on the fact that the marshals aren't paid and they're completely volunteers, and they go, oh, right, okay, but they've only ever watched F1. And then you realise, actually, no, the marshals are not just here for the F1, although that is the biggest, obviously, operation that they do here at Silverstone. They're here nearly every weekend doing something, covering something, letting us race. I mean, without them, we wouldn't have a chance. And the thing is, they're also one of the most accessible ways of getting involved in motorsport. If you have no idea how to get involved in this world and you think you might want to give it a go and see if it's as enjoyable as you think it looks, and trust me, it is, but you can't drive, you can't necessarily commentate, you can't necessarily be a race mechanic or anything like that, then being a marshal at any age is the opportunity for you, and you can go down and type in, obviously, how to become a UK race marshal in Google or whatever, and they'll take you through the process. They do taster days, they do experience days, you can even have days where I think they get the kids involved as well, although I think they have to be over a certain age.
Oh, sorry, Jad, there's been a change for the lead here, and Roby Bernberg has got his hand out. It looks like he's got a problem. Our race leader, Roby Bernberg, is going to be pulling into the pits. He's got his arm up. What a shame that is. He did say he was a little bit concerned about brakes as well. I wonder if something's happened there. Bernberg comes into the pits, and it looks like his race is run. He is out, and it does mean, no, number 93, Andrew Wenham in the Morgan, takes over the lead.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned that you saw smoke coming out of it, Ian. I said that I wouldn't expect that to be brakes if it carries on after the corner, once he's released the brakes. Maybe that's something to do with it. Oh, I get it. It was a puff of blue smoke, so maybe it's a problem with oil or something like that. I don't know, but either way, it's a great shame because he was leading the race by a long way. But if you're Wilmot, you do not care, do you? Because you now inherit the race lead. Oh, sorry, Vedman. You inherit the race lead now, and it's your job to try and take care of it. Fingers crossed we don't see any more casualties. We're about nearly halfway through this race already.
Yeah, we certainly are, aren't we? Wedman takes the lead, then Wilmot in second, Chatham in third, Spooner in fourth, Giordinelli in fifth, Bernberg in the pits, as you can see. What a shame that is. Muirhead, then Hyle Evans, then Coates, Moore, Parry, then Nistorika, then Wenham. That's David Wenham in the number 4 car, not to be confused with Andrew, of course. That is how it looks at the minute at the sharper end of the grid. It is the Equipe Classic Racing Pre-63 with the Pre-50's. Classic cars everywhere. Here comes the Alfa Romeo. Look, the 169, Matthew Homener. I had a chat with Matt, actually, and Who doesn't love an Alpha, by the way, is what I was trying to get. And I was saying, it must be a real treat to drive the car. And he says, I think it's probably more special for the spectators than it is for me behind the wheel. I was like, I don't know, I think I'd quite like to be behind the wheel of that. I just would be too scared about putting it in the gravel.
As I say, I wouldn't mind it if everywhere had bouncy castles on the outside instead of Armco and concrete, but yeah, it is a special thing. To be fair, actually, when you get out there, we're saying about how scary it is and stuff like that. When you get out there and actually start driving it, you get used to the feeling after about 10-15 minutes. You get used to the car, you get used to the sort of feeling, and all of a sudden you just think about going faster and faster and faster. You forget about the price tag, you forget about the pressure. You're just focusing on, I think I can brake a little bit later there. I think I can turn in a bit quicker. Ooh, the back end doesn't, it gives you a bit more grip than you think. Ooh, okay, this is fun.
So John Harrison's just coming through again in the 154, and you may remember he had that spin 3 or 4 laps ago down here. Just a little bit more tentative now coming around here. A bit of action going on. That's your leader actually coming through is Andrew Wenham, just catching up to some of the back markers there, and Howard Spooner going well as well. He's right at the sharp end, could be making up places. In fact, the battle at the sharp end isn't too distant. Wenham has a lead of 4.3 seconds, then Chatter from Wilmot, and then just behind, it's only half a second between. In fact, Wilmot's got through on that lap as well. So Wilmot has got through.
Chatham's in the lead.
What's happened there?
Yeah, Chatham, that's what I was pointing at. I was thinking, that's not back markers. Chatham genuinely is in the lead of the race by half a second, then Wilmot, and then Venman.
Oh, apologies there, yeah, I must have missed that. And Chatham's just had an absolute flyer as well. The Austin Healey done a 2-minute 33.8. That's the fastest lap of the race as well. So Chatham, maybe the tyres are coming in or something. With 13 minutes to go, Chatham is absolutely on fire, not literally.
Yeah, Chatham and Wilmot actually were putting on a hell of a show. They were catching through. They were part of the brigade that I think started, 30 seconds behind in the group behind or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but properly fast. Where did they start? That's the question, Ian. I'll let you have a quick drink first before you get the answer for me. But Chatham and Wilmot have absolutely charged through, and they are, well, potentially on for a race win here. Well, one of them is.
I'm not so sure my grid sheet is actually accurate because it doesn't have the splits. It just says how they qualified. So Chatham did actually qualify second overall, but I don't think he was further down. So we're expecting him to come through anyway. And of course, without Bernberg in the field, who did actually start on pole, it's not a huge shock that Chatham has actually just come through and taken the lead.
I remember being in the race admin, eating my lunch very quickly, and I heard them next door to me saying that I think every single grid today has been amended in some way. So whether there's a late qualification or whether there's been a...
That's not unusual though, is it?
Yeah, whether there's been a traditional or whatever. So yeah, it's one of those things where I think maybe we did see a potential change, and that's why when you printed your grids off as soon as qualifying finished, they could well have changed between now and then.
Well, can I just say actually a big thank you to the administration staff here in the race control, who have very kindly been printing all the sheets for me.
Yeah.
But they did print them about 3 hours ago, so if there's been any amendments, then yeah, I might not quite have. Unfortunately, we do have the graphics pulled in from TSL, so thank you to TSL as well. I bet they don't get thanked very often.
They don't, no.
We had to pay for it, but thank you anyway.
I was going to say, you don't get thanked if you charge for it, do you? But to be fair, I think the rate is quite reasonable for the work that they do. And they are literally everywhere. Speaking of everywhere, the two leaders are all over each other. The 93 of Venman has certainly dropped off, but the race lead is heating up with
Chatham going toe to toe, aren't they? It's great to see this. Sorry, Jack.
It's all right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, they are pretty much falling all over each other. It reminds me of the Elan race that we just had with Butcher and Pittard.
I'll tell you what, that was some race.
Yeah.
Certainly that first 20-25 minutes or so where we had Butcher and Pittard total. I mean, literally for 20 minutes there was nothing to choose between them in these cars that were produced between 1964 and 1965.
Wow. Very wide moment between the two leaders coming out of Cops, I think. I'm not sure who's come out on top of that one. I didn't quite see. All I saw was I looked down at the cameras and going through Cops, which is the first corner. For anybody who doesn't know the Silverstone map, it looked like a very, very wide moment from one of them. It looked like they were going to go try and go side by side, which is obviously not necessarily something that's advisable going through that corner.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it, but I'm watching it on YouTube. You've actually got the live picture, which is only about a second delay.
Yeah.
I'm watching it back on YouTube, just seeing it go wide now. Ellie Louise is getting in touch again. Shout out to number 9 car. We've already done it, Ellie, but we can do it again.
We're going to a potential race lead move change once more in. We do want to hear from the ladies and gentlemen at home, of course. We're going into Stowe. Again, they're going side by side. This could be very, very exciting indeed. Sorry, carry on with your comments.
Oh, no, I'm liking it. The racing obviously is so important. Yeah, people commenting again. Ellie Louise wants to shout out to car number 9. We've done it once. We'll do it again. Sam Williams, of course, behind the wheel of that one, going very well indeed. So, yeah, it certainly is. Certainly with Ellie, anyway. If anybody else is watching, has got a friend or family member racing today, please do give them a shout out. Or if you just want to say hello to a friend or family member who might be watching the stream, again, let us know in that comment section. I can see there's over 100 of you tuning in right now just on the Equipe Classic Racing YouTube channel. We are live at other destinations as well, but do comment. We can see them. Hello, let us know where you're watching from as well. We're trying to find out how many people in how many different countries are watching. We've had quite a few already come through, so if you're in the UK, tell us whereabouts you are in the UK. If you're overseas, tell us where you are. Please do get in touch and we'll give you a shout out as well. Thank you for tuning in today. And thank you to Jack Oliphant for coming down and joining us as well. Made the trip all the way down from Leeds to watch us today with us.
It's a hard life, isn't it, to come down to Silverstone in the sunshine and watch some great racing and classic cars as well. But I'll get on with it, but I'll live to tell the tale.
Well, here's our leaders now, and it's still the 81 car, Wilmot, leading the way. But again, I think this is going to go all the way down to the wire. How long have we got left? We've got just over 9 minutes of this race to go. Remember, it was a 30-minute race in total. And it's been full-blooded affair, hasn't it? Maybe not quite the same pace as the monopostos, but the racing has just been as tight, hasn't it?
It's been tighter, if anything, hasn't it? The front two in the monopostos are very close up until the last 2 laps, and we're hoping this one remains close for the rest of it, because they are putting on one hell of a show. I think in that last lap, Wilmot was quite significantly quicker. They're not close enough this time to go side by side. And, well, both of them probably actually. Both of them probably did an illegal lap last time because how wide they went through Copse. But yeah, well, they're back on. They're doing a great job, and they're putting on a show for the people in the grandstands, and they are loving it as well. Actually, I mean, normally the grandstands are quite full at the beginning of the race, and then maybe they empty out. But actually, they've remained there all this time, which just goes to show how engrossed they are.
I'm liking the battle as well between Andrew Moore in the E-Type and Simon Parry-Williams just behind. So there's racing going on all through the field as well. And I've just seen David Wenham come through as well in the number 4 car. So lots of action going on all throughout the field. Well worth keeping your eye on. Remember, this is the Equipe Pre 53s. 63s with the pre-50s as well, so a joint grid. The next race coming up is a joint grid as well, the 70s with the BC V8 Championship. Make sure you turn your volume up as well, by the way, for those heavyweight V8s that come down with the MGB, MGCs. I've covered them for a few years, and I can tell you something, they are loud. Well worth watching. Great racing indeed. After that as well, we have the final race of the day, the Equipe Libre. So another 2 races still to bring you after this one. Another still an hour of track time to come. 2 more 30-minute races coming up. But do hit like button on the live stream, and if you're watching on YouTube, if you're at Live Sport Now watching it, or you're at the Equipe Classic Racing channel watching it, please do hit that subscribe button as well. We don't charge you guys to tune in and watch this at all. It's completely free motorsport for you to watch. If you just hit that subscribe button, it means you just keep up to speed whenever we do go live with the Equipe Classic Racing. Just don't miss any of the action. There you go. That's it. Doesn't cost you anything, and you can even turn notifications off if you don't actually want to know. So yeah, exactly. You can even mute us if you don't want to listen to it. Yeah. Doesn't matter. We don't listen to us. We understand. We don't take offence. We won't take offence, but I mean, a little bit. I'll cry myself to sleep, but apart from that, it'll be fine. Chatham is still in second place. Well, Wilmot's just got a little bit more of a gap there, isn't he? Just a little bit. I say a little bit. I mean, I'm talking like 0.2 of a second more, but in motorsport terms. Oh, and Bernberg's back out. Roby Bernberg's back out. I'm delighted to say the man who started on pole position was leading the race for the early stages. Had a bit of an issue, came into the pits. We didn't see it because we weren't in the pits, but he's gone back out just to complete the race, which is nice. He'll be a couple of laps down, though. I was going to say, this is his outlap, actually. So we haven't missed him. It's just the fact that this is his first time going out there since having to come into the pits. It's a bit of a shame. So yeah, big gap now between Wilmot and Chatham. 1.6 seconds roughly. A little bit too big to think about any kind of move. 6 minutes to go. It's quite a long time. And you have to think,
I mean, we've spoken a lot about how Silverstone is the best place for this event, Ian.
It's prestigious, isn't it?
It's prestigious, but where would you like, if you couldn't do the Silverstone, where would you like to have seen the Alans take part?
Hatch.
I was going to say, I thought I could see that coming out of you before we even asked the question.
I was at
Zandvoort, that was an outside shout for me as well. Great circuit.
I don't want to be that guy, but I was there last month and kind of fell in love with the place, got to be honest.
I was going to say, it's a great place, Zandvoort, and I think they would suit the Alans. Not many straights, unlike Silverstone with a lot of straights. Obviously, I think.
Well, there is that banking, but
there is a banking as well. There's quite a bit of banking, and the third corner's a bit nasty. But the rest of it is utterly, stupendously special at Zandvoort. But to be fair, I think the Alans, anywhere they go around this country, would be fairly special. So fingers crossed we see more of them, and that we can live stream more of them, so we can bring them on the screen for you guys as well, because there is lots of brilliant British circuits out there that I think would suit any of these cars. And like you've covered before, Ian, you've been all over the country following the BCV8s and the MGs and everything like that. How special would it be if we could do more of this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was at Brands Hatch actually with just doing the MG Cup that day. It makes you realise how much you kind of miss it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm very fortunate. Like you actually, Jack, I don't know if I should say it, but obviously I do a lot of work with the BARC. You do a lot of work with TCR. So we're at tracks, and in fact I'm back here next week, believe it or not, on the Saturday for the British Endurance Championship. So very, very fortunate to be doing what we're doing. We do really appreciate it. Wilmot's still leading the race. As you can see, I've had a few more comments coming on. Nigel Baston is watching, of course. Nigel and Craig Baston normally part of the MG Cup. Boys, I hope you're doing very well. Simon Lowry has commented as well, saying good luck watching from Seville, of all places. And Lance Ellington, you may know Lance Ellington. He's does a lot of singing with Andrew De Beck. That's the right, isn't it? Andrew De Beck?
No.
Is it De Beck? Anton De Beck.
Anton De Beck.
And Lance is watching as well, saying good luck everyone racing today. Wish I was there. He's done a bit of racing actually in the MG Cup as well as Lance. So really, really nice bloke. So if you get a chance to go see Lance live as well, I'll tell you that boy can sing.
I was going to say, it's quite nice, isn't it? It's one of those, you know, if you go to a touring car event or something, Ian, and you turn up, everybody wants to be a racing driver. That's just it. Everybody wants to make it to the top level of racing, and if you ask people what's your aim or what's your goal or what do you do, they all say basically the same thing. 80% of them say the same thing. You turn up to an event like this, you talk to any of the drivers, they'll give you a completely different story. They'll give you a story about how they bought a company up, about how they sold it, about how they inherited the car, or about anything whatsoever. They saw it at an auction. It'll be a completely different story every single time. Not many of them are here to become professional racing drivers. They're here to enjoy it and have a good time. We have lost a car. That was the leader, Wilmot, going through, but
no, that wasn't Wilmot going through, I don't think.
Was it not?
No, I don't think so. I've just seen behind that David Wenman going through the number 4, so don't worry, Jack.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You're getting too excited about touring cars. But you are right. There is something. If you drive a Ferrari or a BCV8 or one of the Austins or the Jaguar E-Type or the Jaguar XK coming down now, there's a story behind it, isn't it? There's a story. No disrespect to touring cars, but if you drive a back in the day a Vauxhall Astra or whatever it was, or a Seat Cupra or whatever they are now, it's not quite the same story, is it? There is a story behind getting there, and it normally, I mean, look at Andrew Jordan, who I know quite well nowadays. I'm sure you probably know him as well. Of course, touring car winner, racing minis now, historic minis.
Yeah,
and absolutely loving life.
He's always been part of that, and his dad was always a part of the historics, the classics and everything like that, and they absolutely loved it. And in fact, I got the impression when he was racing for BMW and we were around him a little bit more, that he actually would sort of get through those weekends and look forward to the classics and the historics a little bit more, actually. So the two leaders, by the way, have just gone past me, so I was incorrect massively. I do apologise for panicking any Wilmot or Chatham fans, well, mainly Chatham. But with 90 seconds left to go, those two have gapped themselves by about 2.5 seconds. I don't think Chatham's got really anything left in the tank.
No, there will be on the about to start the final lap of the race now. Wilmot with just over a 2.5 second lead over Chatham. Howard Spooner in the E-Type as well, in third place, but first in class, it must be worth noting as well. John Pearson is leader in class as well. We've just lost. There we go. We've got it back. Pearson's leader in class. We spoke to him a little bit earlier too. Lots of class battles to keep your eyes peeled on as well. And already the drivers have been asked to get in the cars for the next race. They want to get a move on, don't they? I normally get a bit more of a gap than this, although they did that in the last race and they still had 5 minutes to walk around. So,
yeah.
Jack, you're going to run off and see if you can grab a word with some of the drivers, aren't you? Once this race finishes. We'll show the leaderboard, of course, whilst Jack makes his way over. And of course, it is the 70s with the BC V8 Championship coming up next. This race is not done yet. We've still got 30 seconds, just over 30 seconds left on the clock. And it really does look like it's going to be Joseph Wilmot who is going to take the win here. Roby Bernberg was the man who started on pole position, led it for half of the race, and then unfortunately something happened with the car, came into the pits, had an issue, and that allowed Wilmot to inherit the lead, but he's been under pressure from Jack Chatham. In fact, Chatham briefly led as well, didn't he, Angela?
Yeah.
I'm not quite telling the full story here. Chatham briefly led. Wilmot got it back. It looks like Joseph Wilmot is going to get the job done here. Jack Chatham will come home in second place. Howard Spooner in third, but will take the class win, and Gio Donelli in fourth place, second in class.
Yeah, great drives all round, really, hasn't it? It's been a bit of a spectacle. Everybody, I hope, has come out with a smile on their face. That's the most important thing, as we always say. Not necessarily the most truthful thing, but it's definitely something that we're hoping to see from these drivers. Just trying to get the race program up on my iPad actually, but it's not working. I can tell you if you like. I can tell you what's coming up next. It is the 70s with the BC. It's more the fact that I was hoping to get the entry list, to be honest. I wanted to know exactly what the cars I was going to be walking past in a minute were, but there's nothing worse than getting it wrong when you're on the grid, you know.
Well, I'll have the grid order for you, Jack, so don't you worry about that. But here we go, final moments. There goes Wilmot. He's just coming over now. He's just literally got straight past us. Has Joseph Wilmot. He's about to come round Luffield, the final corner. And in the Equipe Pre 63 with the 50s, the outright winner is going to be Joseph Wilmot. He's just making his way around Luffield now, onto the start-finish straight here on the National Pit Straight at Silverstone on the Grand Prix circuit. Wilmot will take the win. Chatham will come home in second place. Spooner will come home in third. In fact, I've just seen Wenham go through as well, the number 93 car. He's going to come home in fifth place in total, but third in class, so well worth. No, in fact, no, first in class, so apologies about that. It's slightly brighter colour, isn't it? So there we go. So coming over now, the cars, the clock has run down. Wilmot has taken the win, confirmation there. Jack Chatham has come home in second. Spooner has come home in third, but first in class. Just waiting for Roberto Giordinelli to come home in fourth place, but second in class. Wenham's over the line as well, fifth on track. I'll just wait for Muirhead, then Hyle, Evans and Coatesmore, and then Simon Parry Williams. Final few cars just making their way around, a little bit more spaced out. You're not missing any battles or anything like that on circuit right now. A cracking race that though, wasn't it, Jack? I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Yeah, no, really exciting, and okay, it may have died down towards the end, but it doesn't take anything away from the beginning and what was a fairly thrilling event. I've got the entry list now. I've just been doing that for the last 30 seconds, but that's great. But yeah, I think hopefully these guys will have enjoyed themselves, and I think yeah, realistically, everybody's come back with a fairly clean car. It's a bit of a shame that Bernberger obviously had a little bit of a problem, but the fact that they got back out and then finished the race means that hopefully it's fixed.
Right, great stuff. Thank you very much, Jack. Jack's going to make his way over to the assembly area now for the Equipe 70s with the BC V8s. As soon as we get the official confirmation, we'll show it on screen for you. We're just going to go off comms for a second whilst we get Jack into position. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Coming up next, the Equipe 70s with the Equipe BC V8 assembly area interviews. Don't go far.